शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये सरस्वति नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Okay, let's start. So last time we had seen till Sada Yogi. If you remember, one was always, you can say, in the form of yoga. So the way we worship the Lord. And here you had the popular story of Anda. That's there how she showed bhakti towards the Lord. What all efforts she put in order to attain the Lord. So those who missed last class, maybe you can refer to the record. Okay, so let's continue. Viraha. I think I had shared the message, but few of you are asking whether class is there. So just reshare the link. Those who want, you can join. Okay. धर्मत्राणाय वीरान् असुरान् हन्तीति वीरः. So here, to protect dharma, we have to fight against a few demons who are there. They can be our own internal enemies. It may not be only asuras or physical demons as such, physical rakshasas. It can be in the form of anyone. So one who fights with these demons, that is Viraha. Another meaning for the word Viraha also means Lord Narasimha. For this, there is a popular story. There was a person, or you can call an acharya, a great scholar called Muka Rajagopalacharya. He was living in Kanjipuram. So Muka Rajagopalacharya, and it was, you can consider that time in the society wherein there were, like today's times, let's not tell only that time, like today's times, we have a few elements in the society who are against dharma, who are against the Vedas. Like you have the recent debates that are on, you can consider a similar situation even in those times. So this Muka Rajagopalacharya, he was a great Vedic scholar, and people were against him. Like, so people are against him is in the place, in a particular place. I think it's near Kanchipuram. There was a king who was against people who propagated the Vedas, or maybe against Brahmins, against priests, and so on. So therefore, and this person, this Acharya, was not aware of this. He was waiting at the bus stop one fine day, and the local people there. Now, when you look at a person, you can make out that he's a priest and so on. So when we look at priests, we know by the way of attire, the way they present themselves. By looking at them, we can make out. So the local people who are present there, they felt that okay, maybe this person is not aware that the king is against people who propagate dharma, priest, and so on. So they went and they told this Acharya that the land of this king, the king of this land, sorry, is against people like you, priests, to propagate the Vedas, do a lot of mantras, chanting, worship, and so on. So if you want to save yourself, it is better you leave from here quickly. You get the bus, whichever bus comes in, you climb in that and you go fast. You stay here for a long time, people, the king might attack you, can lead you to death and so on, because he is totally against people who do worship this and that. So the Acharya says that he doesn't wait. He says, now I cannot wait. I cannot be afraid of people who just mock at me. If I have to protect my dharma, I have to also fight for it. So let anything happen, I'm ready to face whatever that comes. As usual, the king every day he used to come on his daily round also, and he saw this person who was waiting at the bus stop. So in that land, there was no one actually who was propagating the Vedas or maybe doing any kind of worship, nothing, because people were afraid of the king. And at this time, then when this Acharya was waiting, the king came at that time and he was shocked to see, how come you have come here? This, don't you know the rule of this land and so on. So now the king, now he was also very smart. In order to mock this Acharya, he says, I have heard that priests like you, or maybe people propagating your dharma, they can show a lot of magical things. What is that magic? So he says, if you want to prove yourself as a great bhakta, a great devotee, a great priest, I want you to show some things. So the Acharya says, I'm not come here to prove myself, but still, whatever you want, you ask me. If it is possible for me, I'll try my best. So he says that you can see the sun in the sky, similar to the sun. Just look at the sun and you try to bring fire from your hand. So just like we see some movies or TV shows or so, we see, right, gods or asura, suddenly some weapon will come in their hand and so on. So this king used to think that propagators of dharma or priests and so on, they also have this magical powers and they do some kind of fraud also. So he was trying to mock at the Acharya. So then the Acharya said that, okay, I'll try to show you, but before that, you call your mother here. So the king was shocked. He said, why should I call my mother? He said, no, I want to show all this magic in the presence of your mother. Let her come and then I will show. So now the king little he felt a bit suspicious. He said, why? Was and he felt a little afraid also because he felt that because a king was under the impression that all these things, maybe like in earlier times, rishis used to have yogic powers, they used to bring fire through their hands and so on. So then he felt that maybe using my mother, something happens to my mother, it is little uh, afraid, I'm afraid and so on. So it is just like a magic show. Now, in a magic show, sometimes the magician calls a few people, right, to show a few tricks. So sometimes people are afraid. Though we know that it is magic, suddenly he'll make you invisible and then from somewhere else a person will come. So initially, sometimes we are afraid, right? So if something like this happens. So the king said, no, I cannot call my mother. So the priest here asks a question, why can't you call your mother? So here he says, no, I cannot call. What if anything happens to her? So then the Acharya, he gives an answer that though you speak against Dharma, though you speak maybe against Acharyas and so on, and though you feel that maybe I'll show you magic powers or so, when you say that you're a non-believer, you should readily agree to bring your mother. There, little you become suspicious. There, you feel little doubtful. You say, no, no, what if something happens? So, from inside, at least 50% or 10%, whatever it is, you also believe in Dharma, you also believe in some power, uh, some supreme energy that is there. But from outside, you tend to show that you're afraid, and you tend to show that you're very proud, you're against Dharma, and so on. The king realizes his mistake. He says, yes. However, I conduct myself from outside, but from within I'm always afraid. So therefore, I should not pinpoint at this. So through this entire story, and later he realizes his mistake and so on. Through this story, now the Acharya who was there, Mukha Rajagopal Acharya, he did not wanted to actually show any kind of magic or so. In fact, he was not capable. He was not meant to show all that. But then he explained to the king that maybe something which happened in Treta Yuga, Satya Yuga and so on, wherein rishis had those powers then. And today, because we don't have those powers, doesn't mean that such powers are magical also. There is something called, you can say, siddhis that are there. Just like Hanuman, he has a knowledge of Ashtasiddhis. That's the reason he can increase his size, reduce his size, and something is told to him once he can grasp that immediately. Namavida Vyakarana Pandita, he can master 9 types of grammar. So just because we cannot do this, we cannot claim that such things are wrong. So therefore, through this incident that was there, this Acharya tries to he fights for dharma, Veeraha. So basically, all this incident which he told that okay, you bring your mother and I'll show you. It seems that Narasimha who was present inside the heart of this Acharya, and he was making the Acharya speak all this in order to make the king realize that what he was doing is wrong and he should not counter question things. There will be 10 people who will try to counter question. If the Acharya had run away from there being afraid, he would have never protected Dharma and the land would have never changed. Maybe the king and the land who are not believers of Dharma at all, they changed altogether. The king also realized his mistake. For this, just to add, now this is what Parashara Bhatta mentions in the story. Just to add on to this, there is a similar story even in the life of Swami Vivekananda. There was the same particular king who was there, some random king, and he also used to question. At that time, Vivek, why, who's God? How can you worship a stone and so on when we worship idols? So at that time, again, Vivekananda also used to give the same answer. He showed him. He said, okay, you don't believe, that's fine. He took him to a nearby temple and he told him that you spit on this idol. It's made of stone, metal, whatever it is, whatever you say. So you spit on it, you stamp on it, whatever you want, you do. The king said, no, I cannot do this. Vivekananda asks, why? Why can't you do it? You don't believe in it. For you, it's a random stone. Spit on it, stamp on it, whatever you want, you do it. If you want, you can pick it up and throw it also. King says, no, I cannot do this. Again, he tells the same thing. Vivekananda asks, why you can't do it? Is because from inside, from within, you believe that there is some supreme energy also. The same thing is applicable to all of us. You go to a temple, idol that is there, it is actually made of stone, right? But still, we have some belief. We attach divinity to it. Even the photos that we have in our own houses is actually made of wood, frame, whatever it is. Just a piece of idol, right? Just a photo frame that is there. But maybe a showpiece and maybe a photo of an idol. Both are made of the same material, both are maybe you have a wooden frame, whatever it is. But the way we look at things, the way we experience, maybe in the normal photo or showpiece also, you don't look at that with divinity, but maybe image of a guru or a lord, we look at that with divinity, right? So from how much ever from outside, people say that no, I don't believe in things, or so when it comes near, like you come and you insult it, or maybe you speak against it, or so from within, always people have some belief. And this also the Lord paves a way, it seems. The way, the amount of belief that we have, maybe you will have 100%, I might have 50%, it might differ, but then there are many people, even the propagators of dharma and those who speak against dharma, from within they are also actually afraid. When you actually come near and tell them to do things like Vivekananda did, or this Muka Rajagopalacharya did, they said, okay, you bring your mother and show. He was afraid of something. What if something happens to my mother? Here Vivekananda, he told the king. King was afraid. No, what will happen if I spit on the idol or stamp on it? There are elements who do that in today's times, but in those times at least people had that belief and they did not do that. So the nama here is Viraha, Virahaya Namaha. Sorry, Viraghne Namaha is a nama here, and it means that for if someone speaks against our dharma, we should be able to fight for it. When I say fight, you need not go to the extent of maybe hitting others. If you also go and hit others, then there is no difference between us and the opposite person, right? But the way we make people understand, like Vivekananda did or this Acharya did, that is very, very important. Here, please note one thing, this doesn't mean that we are trying to make someone forcefully believe in things. Like, okay, it's everyone's personal choice to believe or not believe. But then through these incidents, what is shown is people who simply mock at people. It's absolutely fine if you don't believe. That's your personal choice. But you cannot stop or you cannot tell others not to believe. These two people, even Vivekananda also, the king who came, the incident of Vivekananda, the king who was there, he used to mock at Vivekananda and all others people. Whom are you worshipping? You're worshipping a stone idol and so on. Vivekananda gave a very clear answer. You don't worship, nobody is telling you anything against it. But for people who are having some belief, you cannot speak against them. And in order to teach him a lesson, because he behaved that way, Vivekananda taught him a lesson. Same thing happened in the case of this Rajagopalacharya also. He was absolutely fine. The king follows something, he doesn't do it, that is fine. But he stopped even others, the entire land, from doing that. And even someone came in that land, like this Acharya had come to Kanchipuram, he was waiting at the bus stop. People told him, you leave, the king might not like. This is wrong. What you follow at an individual level, that is fine. But then you cannot tell others also to do the same thing. You cannot stop others from doing anything. If you do that, then surely I will fight for that. So one who protects one's dharma at any cost by meditating on Lord Narasimha mainly, that is Viraghne Namaha. So we'll also have this capacity to maybe uphold, or you can say following dharma is one thing, and always keep doing dharma or believing in dharma is one thing, following it till the end of our life is one thing, is another thing which has to be done very faithfully. So if someone like comes and tells us, no, what now, sometimes it does happen, right? We might be believers of dharma, but if someone comes and speaks something against it, immediately our mind changes, right? Oh, what he's saying is also true. Then our path changes. That should not happen. Mind should be very, very strong. So Viraghne Namaha is this now. Okay. Could everyone follow? Yes? Okay. Next. Madhavaha. Mayaha Vidyaha Patihi Madhavaha. Now Madhavaha, already this Nama has come in the 73rd Nama of the Vishnu Sahasranama. There, Ma is another name for goddess Mahalakshmi. So the Lord of Ma, that is Madhavaha in that context. So the Lord of goddess Mahalakshmi is Madhavaha. In this context, Madhavaha. Mayar meaning siddhis. Siddhis, or you can say different, some knowledge or some tattvam that we call, some philosophy. Now here the another meaning is also given. Madhavaha, concept of Ma. But Maya Vidyayaha Patihi Madhavaha, the Lord of Siddhis or Tattvas, Vidyas, that is Madhavaha. For this again there is a story. Now this Acharya that I told you, Mukaraja Gopalacharya, he became the head of Ahobila Mata, the Jeers that we have. He became the head of that. If I'm not wrong, I think the number is 44 also. Ahobila Mata head. Who was that? This is this Acharya. Okay, next Madhavaha. Now, showing bhakti is one thing, and it seems that the different avatars, now next nama I'm telling you the story, Madhavaha, showing bhakti is one. Now if someone tells, okay, Lord Vishnu is there, Lord Shiva is there, Lord Brahma is there, in your own ways you can worship and show, this is one thing. What was the reason for taking various avatars in? We don't worship only Lord Vishnu, Brahma, Shiva, right? We worship them in the form of different avatars and so on. So what is the reason for this? Like, is there any reason? One is, okay, different avatars were taken in order to propagate dharma, that is one thing. But then apart from this, is there any other reason why the Lord takes different avatars, or in one avatara only why he does different leelas? For this, there is one story. Now, in all, as per Upanishads, there are about 32 siddhis, it seems, 32 tattvas. Now, what is tattvam exactly? In the Upanishads, so something you'll have from Chandogya Upanishad, something you'll have from Mandukya Upanishad, and so on. So, like this, there are different references, not from one particular Upanishad. But what are these siddhis? Now, Upanishads is also, though people say that it is, you can say a lot of Vedanta and so on, maybe someone who has read these books you might know, but still there are many stories. Like we have stories in the Puranas, you also have some stories in the Upanishads also which talk about, though it can be philosophy and Vedanta more, but still the explanation that is given at times is easy also. Sometimes it is there in the form of stories or conversations between two people and so on. So here in these 32 siddhis, for this we have to take the example of say Krishna Avatar. Now Krishna Avatara, if you see right from the time Krishna was born, different obstacles were coming in his way. So Putana Moksha, Putana Moksha we say. Putana was an asura, she was a demoness, but still she was given moksha. So here the tattva or the siddhi behind this is she was actually, you can say, a curse that she had got, and that's how she came there. But still, she did not directly come, though she wanted to kill Krishna. Her way was little different. She could have immediately come, maybe she could have followed Krishna, or maybe she had some weapon, or so she could have attacked Krishna. Instead of doing that, what she does is she tries to show some motherly affection by making the child suck milk. So little, at least bhava would have been there in her. Of course, the objective that she had was she had to kill the child, but still the way she did was different. And of course, she had some previous karma also. That's the reason Putana she got moksha. So the Lord, what the tattvam that is told here is, if you really have bhakti, maybe in between you might get distracted in your life. One more example to add on this is Ajamila. Though we say Ajamila he got moksha, though he was an evil man, doesn't mean that okay, I'll do all evil things. Last minute I'll call out Narayana. Last minute, if that Narayana has to come, we have to put in efforts previously. And Ajamila earlier in his life, in his early days of his life, he was a good person. In between, like all of us, it happens in all of our lives. Little he got distracted in between, and that's when problems started arising, and he went on the wrong path and so on. But later, of course, in the last minute, because of all the good things, good karma that he had done before, Narayana Namam came on his lips and the Lord blessed him. So, though we become evil in between, now human nature or Rakshasas, if you see, nobody can be 100% good. If you are 100% good, we have to build temples for ourselves, we are equal to the Lord, right? So, of course, wrongdoings come, some evils, bad things just happen. But then to come out of that and to realize, okay, what I have done is wrong, maybe till date what I'm doing is wrong, I have to change myself. If this attitude develops, now this will also come with the grace of the Lord only, but still if this comes, then also the Lord will bless us. So this is one siddhi that's true. Like this there are 32. So Putana, Moksha, Ajamila are such things. Next is even the story of Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Shishupala, Dantavaktra. They are actually the Dutapalas, the Dutas, the, you can say, the door attendants of Lord Vishnu, Jaya, Vijaya, they got the curse of the Sanat Kumaras and they were reborn. So ultimately, but later they asked for forgiveness. So the Sanat Kumaras gave them a blessing that though you will be born as Rakshasas, the curse cannot go waste. Like I cannot take that back, but you will be killed by Lord Vishnu only and you will attain Vaikuntha. So therefore, even so here one more tattvam that is said is Ravana, Kumbhakarna or all these asuras, they were not killed by random people. The Lord himself had to take an avatara. So you just imagine their might that was there. And at the same time, like you take the example of Ravana, he was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. He had everything in his life. In fact, he was ruling over the three worlds. He was such an evil person, but still he had all the riches of the world. Everything was under his control, but one small mistake, or you can say one small evil that he had in his life was he used to abduct other people's wives. He used to snatch away things from others and so on. Because of that, it brought about his own downfall. But still, there were, if you know, like just in our everyday lives also, we look at other people and say, right, he's not doing anything good, still he is enjoying everything. I am doing everything good, but still I am facing all kinds of difficulties. We tell this, right? But for this also, the same thing happened with Ravana. He used to enjoy everything, but he was evil. Ultimately, one fine day it brought about his destruction. So, one more tattvam here, though everything seems very good from outside, towards the end, it will surely bring about your destruction if you follow the path of adharma. So, therefore, following the path of dharma will always be difficult, but then towards the end, it will always lead to moksha. One more example from this, from the Mahabharata. All the Pancha Pandavas, they had to face so much. Finally, they won the war and everything, but still, they had done a lot of adharma. Adharma in the sense they had fought with the war, and in order to reach the Lord, they had to again go to the Himalayas, right? So it's not that directly they got moksha. It didn't happen that way. They had to put in efforts. And that's when slowly, along with Draupadi, the Pancha Pandavas move about. One by one, each of them starts falling. Lastly, only Yudhishthira and the dog who was there, they both reached. Yudhishthira is none but Dharmadeva himself. That's the reason his death took place last. So like this slowly, even the Pandavas now, they had to face so much in life. Finally, they got everything, but again, ultimately, they had to put in efforts for attaining dharma, for attaining moksha. So this is another tattvam that is there. So everything that we see around today, when we say that the Lord killed asuras, each asura was killed had some story behind it. Be it Ravana, Kumbhakarna, be it Shishupala, Dantavaktra, or be it Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, or Putana, Trinavarta, all the different asuras that came in. Some of them had some shapa. Kabanda, for example. Kabanda from the Ramayana reference. Now, why Kabanda came in? Rama had to face him at any cost. Now, we might feel Rama had to face so much in life, so many asuras came. But if Kabanda had not met Rama and Lakshmana, they would never know about the whereabouts of Shabari, they would never know about the whereabouts of Sugriva. So lesson from this, whatever happens in life happens for good. Maybe currently we feel that it is very difficult to face it, but if it had not happened, then maybe today things would have been different. So this happened with the Lord himself, so what to talk about all of us. So like this, there are different siddhis and tattvas behind every avatara, behind every asura coming in the life of Krishna, Rama, all the different avatars, there is some purpose to it. So randomly some asura comes and just go about killing. It doesn't happen that way. Behind every asura also there is some tattva. So like this, there are, not getting too much detail into that, 32 tattvas are mentioned in the Upanishads that is there. The lord of all these tattvas, that is Madhavaha. From the Harivamsha Puranam, that is Mahabharatam, you have one more line. Ma vidyacha hare prokta tasya isho yato bhavan tasman Madhava namasi devaswami iti shaktiha. So Madhavaha is another name for, you can say another name that talks about knowledge. Okay. Next nama. So Madhavaya Namaha. So we'll also be knowledgeable. All kinds of vidya, all kinds of knowledge will be attained by us also easily if you chant this nama. Madhavaya Namaha. Next. Madhu. Yatha madhu param pritim utpadayati tathayamapiti madhu. The madhu in general Sanskrit means honey. So the Lord also gives great joy. Like when we consume honey, it's very sweet, right? It gives us happiness. Similarly, the Lord also blesses all of us with happiness. That is one reference. Okay. For this, there is a story. Now, Goddess Mahalakshmi, it seems that there is a reference which tells Goddess Mahalakshmi prays on the Lord, on the form of the Lord, which is sweet like honey, it seems. So the Lord's form, if you see, is very good to look at, very peaceful. Even when we look at it, automatically bhakti develops and so on. So the form of Vishnu is said to be a honey-like form or a madhu-like form. And once it so happened that Goddess Mahalakshmi, she goes to a temple. Even today, the temple is there in Tamil Nadu. I think Tirukannamagai. That is the name of the temple. Name of the place where you have a temple for Lord Vishnu and Goddess Mahalakshmi. And here, Tirukannamagai, this is the place wherein Lord Vishnu had to come and meditate on Goddess Mahalakshmi. He had to come and he did Abhisheka to Lakshmi. So that is the significance of this place. It seems that for many years together, now Goddess Mahalakshmi also, she had to take different avatars, like Jayanti, or even the son of Brigu, or daughter of Brigu, then the daughter of the ocean god, then the daughter of, no, like Sita, Rukmani, that is all different. So there the Lord also comes. So here if you see in one of those avatars, it seems that in order to attain Lord Vishnu, she does for many years together, she does a lot of tapas. And now tapas, years together she used to do tapas in order to attain Lord Vishnu. And that all happened in this Tirukannamagai. Now, and she used to meditate on the form of the Lord, which she used to find it very sweet like honey. And this reference comes in the Chandogya Upanishad, wherein Narada talks about this. It is called Madhu Vidya. Madhu is honey, and Vidya is knowledge. Madhu Vidya. So, wherein meditating on the Lord, this incident is mentioned there, where Goddess Mahalakshmi meditates on this form of Lord Vishnu. So here, finally, Vishnu becomes very happy with her tapasya, and he comes. And it seems that he was not only happy with the tapasya that he did, but in order to show her respect and to bless her, it seems that he did Abhisheka to goddess Mahalakshmi here, and that's how she gets the name here, Abhishekavalli Tayar. That's how she's called in this temple of Tirukannamagai, Abhishekavalli. That's how she gets the name. And it seems that even today, if you go to this temple, in a pot or so, they still keep honey. It seems in order to worship the goddess who's there. So basically, the form of the Lord, which is very sweet, and it also talks about one Sthala Puranam. Sthala Puranam, or the name of a temple or a place where goddess Mahalakshmi, she had to put in a lot of efforts in order to worship the Lord. But ultimately, when she finished her tapasya, it seems that the Lord became so happy with her. He not only blessed her, made her his wife, but also did Abhisheka to her. So very few references wherein the Lord does Abhisheka to the Lord. That is done in this place of Tirukannamagai, this temple, and even till date, if you see this Tirukannamangai, I think, not Magai, Mangai. So there, if you see Tamil Nadu, I think Tiruvarur district, that will be the temple where it is located, and here you have uh, the Lord, it seems that the Lord here is called Bhaktavatsala. Maybe you can Google later and say Bhaktavatsala, because the Lord turned out to be a Bhakta here. Lord became a devotee, and like devotees and Bhaktas, he did Abhisheka to the goddess. So that's the reason he got Bhaktavatsala as another name that happens, that is given to the Lord. But mainly the name is because he also turned out to be a Bhakta. And he worshipped the goddess here, and that's how both of them have a temple. And honey is the main prasada, or you can say the main element, which is offered here as prasada also, and we do abhisheka also with honey. So a very beautiful temple for Lord, wherein goddess Mahalakshmi is said to have done a lot of tapasya. So Madhu, when we say Madhu here, Madhave Namaha is the Nama here. It means sweetness. Our life will also be filled with sweetness. Now, when we say sweetness, the thing that is mentioned here is whenever we, now, if you look at something, two things can happen. Either you feel good or you feel bad, right? Because by nature of the thing itself is evil. Say, for example, we look at killing someone. Someone is being killed or some theft, something is happening. Obviously, everyone will feel bad. Nobody will feel good there. But something, maybe there is an event or so, some person is being praised, the other is being talked little less. Like say for example, if there are 10 people there, I tell one of you, no, you are chanting good today, someone I tell, no, you are not chanting good, you have to practice. Person whom I told you chanted well, he will be very happy. Person whom I told that you're okay but still you have to practice, though he might take it as a feedback, but still the person feels little bad, oh, someone told me I'm not chanting well, right? So it's the same thing, but the way we look at things is important. So good or bad, so our attitude that is there towards things will always be sweet, will always be good. So to develop sweetness in one's life, to develop goodness in one's life, that is the Palashruti of this Nama, Madhave Namaha. Clear? Did everyone follow? Yes. Okay. Next is, so from here you have the Nama ends 170, 170. Next is 171 till 181. It talks about Vaikuntham, Lord Vishnu, who is present in Vaikuntham. That is the Nama from 171 to 181. The next 11 Namas. Atindriyaha Ashabdamasparsham iti Shrutehe शब्दादि रहितत्वात् इंद्रियाणाम अविषय इति अतीन्द्रियः. So Kathopanishad says that one who is free from sound and touch. So basically someone who is beyond the sense objects, that is ati indriya. Ati indriya. So we are all, if you see, we are affected, right? If someone makes a loud noise also, immediately we close our ears. Or if suddenly sunlight or bright light falls on our eyes, we immediately close our eyes. Some bad smell comes, we have to close our nose. If something we don't like, some food, maybe it's very spicy or a lot of salt in it, we spit it out, we cannot eat it. Or if some injury is caused in our hand or leg, immediately skin gets affected, we have to do some treatment and so on, right? So we are bound by senses, that is there. Immediately something happens. In science, you have something called stimulus, right? STIMULUS. Some reaction, reactive action, this that we learn, right? That is nothing but whenever something happens, we react to that. Like we have the touch me not plant. You just even go near it and you just touch it, it will close its leaves. After some time, of course, it opens. So we have something called, we react to things. The Lord who is beyond reaction. Let anything happen. He is in the same form. He is in the same Yoga Nidra form. He is not affected by that. The same form in Vaikuntha, he is always present. So that is Atindriya. So for this again, there is a very beautiful story. Now, it so happens that now here, rather than a story, it's like a folk tale that has been told. So there was a man, it seems, and he wanted some water to drink. And he went from, now in those times, if you see, travelers used to go from one place to another. So they will ask for water, food, or so on. Even now, also sometimes, nowadays, maybe in cities also we don't find this much, but in villages, at times, people sometimes they will come, they'll ask for water, or if someone comes to our house, also we ask water, right? So, somewhat similar, this one person he asks for water. So, now you just look at the conversation in those times, this is how people used to talk, the devotees of Vaikuntha, devotees of Vishnu. So this person he goes and asks for water. So one person's house he goes. The first person tells you go to Akasha. Akasha is so open, right? So there you rain drops will fall in. You can drink water how much ever you want. This person says, how can I go to Akasha? Forget. He goes to the second person. Second person says, you go to the Kshira Samudra. Go to the Milky Ocean. There you will get milk. Forget about water. You will get milk. You drink that. He says, what nonsense? How can I go there? Forget. He goes to the third person. Third person he says that you spend time, maybe what you do is you see a stream also like a waterfall. You wherever you find a small stream of water or some waterfall that is there, you fill up some water from that and you drink it. So now you might be wondering, if someone asks for water, what we do? Immediately water is there, you first give them water, right? We don't give them such answers, nor do we send them away saying that there is no water. If someone asks for water or rather even food, we should always offer them whatever is there. But here people just sent him away. So now this person was a bit confused. He felt that why people are behaving like this, he could not understand anything. First one says you go to Akasha, Akasha is open, raindrops are there, you fill your thirst. That is, you quench your thirst that way. Next person says you go to the Milky Ocean, you drink milk. That is not possible. Third one says there is a stream or waterfall, if you find, you drink that. So he says now, the streams or waterfalls, if you see, only during the rainy season you will find them. Right? Suddenly there's some water also maybe on a hilly area, there you will find. Apart from that, there will be nothing. So he says there is no guarantee, right? Where will I go searching for a stream or a waterfall? He says forget. He goes to the fourth person. Fourth person says you want this, you dig the ground. You dig the ground, one fine day you will find water, you drink that ground water. Forget. Lastly, he goes to the fifth person. Fifth person, what he does is he had filled a lot of pots full of water. Out of that, he offered him water. Finally, now the fifth person felt very happy. Now, through this story, what we get to learn is through this entire incident that is there is a lot of comparison that is done. So, this basically the story took place wherein there was one person who had questioned to his acharya, to his guru, that. So, it was like a conversation between two people wherein he questioned, saying that why do we people worship the Lord in the form of idols also, or why do we do worship at our own houses? So for this, he had told the story. This is the explanation for that. So this five things, this person he goes. So two people talk about have a conversation. Why do we worship the Lord in the form of idols, worship, puja, this and that? Why do we do that? So for this, these two people are having a conversation, and that guru he tells this story that is there in order to make this concept understand. So the story is of this person who asks for water, and he meets these five people. First tells him you ask Akasha, second is from the Milky Ocean, third is you find some stream or waterfall, fourth tells you dig the ground, fifth person ultimately he had filled a lot of water, pots of water, and he offers from that. Finally he quenches his thirst. Now this the Shishya and Guru were having this conversation. Shishya could not understand anything. Says, what, why you're telling me this story? What is the connection? What is the question that I asked you? I said, why do people do idol worship? You're telling this story. Someone asked for water, this is the answer. It's not related at all. I have not understood anything. So he says that the person goes and meets the first person. First person is you go to Akasha and drink water. That is not possible. Similarly, all of us human beings also, we cannot go to Vaikuntham in order to attain the Lord. At least at this stage, as normal human beings, you cannot go to Vaikuntham in order to worship the Lord. That option is done. Second option is Milky Ocean. You go to the Milky Ocean. So that is, you have to go to Swarga, like other gods. Other gods, they have the capacity whenever they want, they will pray to the Lord, they can go to Vaikuntham, it's quite nearby. So going to the milk, drinking water from the Milky Ocean is like that, being like gods themselves. So we are not gods, so therefore we cannot go to Swargaloka at all. So therefore this option is also cancelled. Third is, he says you see a stream or a waterfall or something, you dig the ground. So this is like temporary, right? Now today it might be there, tomorrow maybe after the rainy season is gone, it will not be there. So it is like worshipping the different avatars of the Lord. So now during some avatara, maybe if we are there, we would have been there, we would have worshipped the Lord then in his form, maybe Krishna avatara, Rama avatara, whatever it is. But we don't remember that, so we don't know. And avatars, maybe they are there, once Rama avatara is done, he will go away, Krishna avatara is done, he will go away, so that is also temporary. Next option is dig the ground for groundwater, that is put in lot of efforts, that is like practicing the marga of Jnana Yoga, like yogis, wherein yogis with their power they can see the Lord in front of them, or the Lord themselves come in front of them. That is also not possible for human beings. Last option is in pots full of water, pots full, water is filled, that is offered to you, very easily you can drink it. Similarly for human beings, idol is kept in front of you, you can worship that. So that is the reason we have to believe in idol worship. That is the reason how he started doing idol worship. Now the Shishya gets the answer very easily, and that's how the Lord gets his name Atindriyaha. Atindriyaha meaning one who is over everything. So there is, you can say, one who is beyond the power of the senses, but then that doesn't mean that he will not accept your worship that you do, whether you worship in the form of an idol, whether you go to Vaikuntha or worship him, that doesn't matter. But then if you raise a question saying that why I have to worship the god in the form of an idol who is just merely made of stone or metal, whatever it is, why am I doing that? For this is an answer. If you are not capable, you are not able to follow the first four categories, ultimately you have to follow the fifth category. So therefore, Yoga Shakti, you don't have the power to go to Vaikuntham, you don't have the power to be like other gods, be in Swargaloka. You don't know whether you were present during any avataras, also you don't remember, you don't have the Shakti for that. Next is, you cannot put in efforts like yogis also by practicing Jnana Yoga, Sannyasa Yoga, forget about that. Lastly is, everything is ready for you, idol is kept in front of you, flowers are easily available in the market, someone teaches you shloka, someone teaches you songs, that you can do simply. I have only 5 minutes, I have only 10 minutes, I can chant only the names of the Lord. Things are very much easily kept in front of you, you just have to pick up your hand, just like you have pots full of water in front of you, you just have to pick up that water, put it in your mouth like this. Idols are kept in front of you, all the things that are necessary for worship are there, you just have to put in little efforts by chanting his name, singing his glories, and worshipping the Lord who is kept in front of you in the form of an idol. If this also you cannot do, that is your ajnanam, that is your ignorance. Now the Shishya gets his answer very easily, and he says that Atindriyaha, the Lord is beyond senses. Whether I worship in the form of an idol, whether I go to Swarga, whether I go to Vaikuntham, that doesn't matter. What I do is worshipping. What I must do is worship the Lord. So therefore, before I try to pinpoint my fingers on the different practices that are done in the society, I must always look at my own capacity. So here the Guru makes him realize that it's not, nobody told you to worship the Lord in the form of an idol. There are different ways that are told. You are not capable of that. You are not capable of going to Vaikuntha. You are not capable of becoming a god like Indra, Varuna, and so on to be in Indra. You cannot practice Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga like sannyasis. You cannot put in difficult efforts. At the same time, you don't remember, you don't have that Shakti power to know whether you were present during different avataras, that you would have seen the Lord with your naked eyes. So if nothing of this is possible from your side, if you cannot do anything, nothing, you have to end up believing the last form of idol worship. That also is there today. Till date it is there. Tomorrow we never know. Maybe towards the end of Kali Yuga, we don't know what will happen. So this is Atindriya. So Atindriyaya Namaha, meaning this Nama, the Parashruti is, the Lord will come and bless us. What form you do, that doesn't matter. Like Krishna tells the same thing in the Bhakti Yoga. He tells how you, like when Arjuna asks, which form should I worship you? Like in the form of Krishna that you're there in front of me, or like yogis without having any form, just on meditating on the supreme energy. Krishna says, how you do, what you do doesn't matter. But you're putting in efforts, that is what matters to me. So whether you, any marga you practice, that's the reason the Gita talks about different ways. Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Sannyasa Yoga. It's your choice what you want to do. But you have to do something in your own way. You do, I will not do anything, everything else is false. You have to sit back and comment on that. That is your ajnanam, that is your ignorance. Whatever you can do, that matters to me. Whatever you do, that should be full of faith and shraddha. If you can show that, I will accept that. How you do, which path you follow, that doesn't matter to me. He offered me 1 lakh rupees. He is spending 10 hours worshipping on me. He is spending only 5 minutes. I don't see all that. Whatever you do, that should be full of bhakti. I will accept that readily. So this is Atindriyaya Namaha. The Lord will come and bless all of us. Whatever path you want to follow, you do. If you do that with full of faith, I will bless you. Okay. Did everyone understand this Nama? Yes? Okay. So you can consider a very beautiful way. So when Guru and Shishya are also having a conversation, the way the Guru gives an answer is very, very important. Like the Shishya, when he asked why I have to practice and follow idol worship, the Guru gave a very beautiful answer, which made the devotee, which made the Shishya realize that, oh, why I'm doing something, I'm not capable of doing the other four. If I want, I can put in efforts, but I'm not capable of doing that. Therefore, I have to accept what can be done and I have to follow that. So, here, if you see blindly, you tell people to do something, they will not agree. But if you give them good answers for so, doesn't mean that we are answerable to everyone. But here, the Shishya really wanted to know. He was curious about it, and he felt why should we worship idols in the idols also in the form of stones and so on. And at that time, he gets the right answer. Okay. Next is Mahamayah. Mayavinamapi Mayakaritvat Mahamayah. Mayavi he says. We call the Lord, right? Mayavi is nothing but though he is free from Maya, he ensures that he traps everyone into Maya. Now note one thing. Maya doesn't mean something which is not there. Maya is something which is there or which does exist. It's not just pure magic. It is there. It's just that we don't know about it. Take the best example of a magician. When he shows you some magic, he'll hold something in his hand, suddenly that goes away. We feel that, oh, how it went away. But magician has learned some tricks also. That's the reason why some of us, maybe at some point of time, we are also curious, right? And some magic trick as children, all of us do show. We go and learn that trick from someone. But from outside, when someone sees us for the first time, he feels that it is total magic. That magic also doesn't mean it just has come from somewhere. There is some science, there is some tricks that are there behind it. So this is Maya is also like this. Something is being done, it's only that we are not aware about this. For this, from the Gita also you have Mama Maya Duratyaya. So people fall in that trap. Best example Krishna, when he opens his mouth and shows the entire world to Yashoda, she is lost in that and she forgets. 1 minute she feels that the Lord, the entire world is there inside my child's mouth. Next minute, the Lord paves, he does such a leela that she forgets everything, whatever she saw, and again she goes behind Krishna, she continues scolding him for eating mud and so on. So this is Maya. So what the Lord showed was not magic. He is the Lord of the three worlds. He had the entire world inside his mouth. But Yashoda, for that small time, that limited interval, she felt that what she saw was true. But then after some time, she lost it again. She fell a trap to Maya. She felt that everything around is illusion. So you have some examples that is given Indrajit, Kamsa and so on. They felt that they are only powerful. They forget. So they were caught in that Maya. So that's the reason Rakshasas are also called as Mayavis. They can do all kinds of conjuring tricks. Maya. That's when he created Maya Sita. You have the incident of Maya Sita. Or even Rama's head. Only the head of Rama is shown to Sita and so on. Some references are not mentioned in the Valmiki Ramayana. You have something in the other Ramayanas. Like Ramcharitamanas and so on. Tulsi Ramayana. So there you have these incidents that are there of Maya Sita. Or the head of Rama was cut off and shown to Sita. Looking at that, she falls down. And then ultimately Trijata comes and tells, no, this is the Maya of Indrajit that is done. Nothing has happened to your Rama. Or even Maya Sita, wherein Indrajit shows that I'm going to cut off the head of Sita. Rama looks at that, he faints down. At that time, Vibhishana tells this is nothing but the trick of Maya. So the role that Vibhishana played was very, very important. If Vibhishana had not joined Rama's army, maybe they could have never won the war because the war was not won only through, you can say, normal fighting ways. There was a lot of tricks that the Rakshasas followed, and we needed a person who knew about that. So Vibhishana was a blessing. Okay, now for this there is a story, Mahamaya. Now, Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha. Now, Hiranyakashipu was very angry that Hiranyaksha was killed by Vishnu. So, the previous avatara, Varaha avatara, Hiranyaksha, when he goes to Patala and he had taken Bhumi Devi. So, at that time, Vishnu takes an avatar of Varaha, he goes down digging the ground, he rescues Bhumi Devi, and at the same time, he also kills Hiranyaksha. So Hiranyakashipu was very angry on this. He felt, how dare my brother be killed by this Vishnu, and that's how he developed enmity towards Vishnu, and he started uh, tormenting everyone, this and that. And it seems that he went down. Now there is something, Vaikuntham is one Vaikuntham. It seems that there is something called Kaliya Vaikuntham. Kaliya Vaikuntham, you can consider like a uh, there also you have Vishnu, gods, Mahalakshmi, Vishwaksena, Garuda, everyone is there, but not the place where we get moksha. So not the original abode, you can say like a side place, that is it. Like even in Tirupati, if you see, Tirupati, the main Tirumala temples are one, and then another place wherein you have everything that is done like Tirupati. So something like that. So there also Vishnu used to be present, and Hiranyakashipu, he went to this place, Kali Vaikuntha. He could not go to ultimate Vaikuntha until and unless he was killed by Vishnu because of his evil karmas. Now here also you will be wondering why Hiranyakashipu went to this Kali Vaikuntha. He cannot go even there. It seems that because of his previous karma. He was the attendant of Lord Vishnu, right? And if he had not gone to Vaikuntham, then the future events will not take place. That's when Prahalada will not be born, and so. So therefore, he goes in search of Vaikuntha, so of Vishnu, because he had anger that his brother Hiranyaksha was killed by Vishnu. So he goes in all four directions to search Patala, this Kaliya, Vaikuntha, everywhere he goes, and he could not find Vishnu anywhere. He felt that Vishnu was afraid of him and he has hidden somewhere. So at that time, what happens is he goes about here and there, and still he could not find Vishnu at all. Until the Narasimha Avatara, he did not find Vishnu. He comes back to his place. That's when he tells nobody should uh, worship Vishnu only. No Vishnave Namaha, Hiranyakashipave Namaha only should be chanted, and so on. And people also started doing the same thing. Prahalada was born, the entire Narasimha Avatara took place, and finally Hiranyakashipu was killed by Narasimha. At this time now, Prahlada goes and he questions Lord Vishnu that my father earlier itself had come, right, in order to meet you. At that time only, if you felt that he was evil. Anyway, if you were about to kill him, why do you need to take another avatara like a Narsimha? Why did you have to wait for Hiranyakashipu to torment other people? Why did you want me to be born also so that I'll be tormented by my father? Ultimately, I wanted to show you devotion to you, right? I could have done that anyway. Why you had to play all this Maya? Lord says that if and where were you? First of all, my father came in search of you in all four directions. Where were you then? Vishnu gives an answer that I was present inside the heart of your father only in the form of Narsimha. That's the reason he was becoming violent like Narsimha. He went about tormenting people here and there. Prahlada says, why do you want to play this Maya? There was no need, right? If you knew that the person was evil, you could have punished him there and then, or maybe you would have killed him. That's it. The story would have ended. Vishnu tells, if I had not played this Maya, then the world would have not been blessed by Bhakta Prahlada, by a devotee like you, and therefore I had to wait for this. I had to be patient because the world is not known. Nobody will know me. If the Lord Himself He says that 10 people will worship me, 100 people will worship me because I killed asuras or because I killed demons, but the entire world will worship me if there are devotees like you, Dhruva, Vibhishana, and so on, Shabari, and so on. So therefore, if you see, if we worship, that this is a reason between Bhagavan and Bhagavatas. Shatrughna and Lakshmana, they are Bhagavatas. Bharata is also to some extent, and in fact, more than Rama and Bharata, you have more importance that should be rather given to Lakshmana and Shatrughna because Lakshmana always served Rama. So the one who says Bhagavan is a Bhagavata, and in the case of Shatrughna also, though Bharata now maybe you cannot given the same status as Vishnu, but Bharata is a follower of Dharma. So Shatrughna always listened to him. Whatever Bharata told, he followed. So the greatest Bhagavatottamas. Bhagavata is one thing, devotees. One who serves the Lord is Bhagavata. Bhagavata Uttama. The greatest among devotees is these two, Lakshmana and Lakshmana and Shatrughna, sorry, because they did not think about themselves at all. Lakshmana never once thought about himself, what will happen to me, what will happen to my wife, I have to go to the forest and so on. What is my enjoyment? Nothing. Nobody told him anything. The Vanavasa was told only to Rama, Lakshmana followed that. Sita was also not told anything, but at least she had her husband alongside. Only for 10 months they were away. Later, of course, in Uttarakanda, she was away. In the case of Lakshmana, he was away from his wife for 14 years, and even Urmila, for that matter, has to be worshipped. So, Bhagavatottamas are very, very important. The Lord says, I am not known because I have killed asuras, I have killed demons, I have freed you, and so on. but only because of Bhagavatottamas like you. If the world does not have now, if tomorrow I have to tell that devotees should worship me, they should show bhakti towards me, they need some inspiration, they need some role model. And that's the reason we need people like Prahlada and Dhruva. If today when we chant Gajendra Stuti, Prahlada Stuti, we chant till date, right? Vishnu Stuti, Shiva Stuti is on one side, but till date, if we chant Prahlada Stuti, Gajendra Stuti, Gajendra's prayer, even at that time, he remembered me, I had to rush and come in order to save him. And at one point of time, it so happened that I had to lift Garuda on my hands, I had to lift Gajendra on me. If you have seen the Gajendra Moksha photo, the elephant is lifted by Lord Vishnu when he was fighting with the crocodile, Makara. So this is amount of devotion that I have to show. So Vishnu here in the form of Mahamaya, though people call me as a great Mayavi and so on, still what is the importance? So when you ask me questions, some evil is happening immediately, I could have killed Hiranyakashipu. No doubt it is true, but if I had done that, the world would have never been blessed with Prahlada, Dhruva, and great devotees like you, Gajendra, or even Gita Upadesha. If Arjuna was not there, if Arjuna had not raised a question, the world would have not been blessed with the Gita. So the Lord here tries to highlight that I can come, I can kill demons, free the world from their troubles and go away. But if I don't wait for the right bhaktas to come in, the world will never show bhakti towards me. Maybe you will show bhakti, like you said. Prahlada said there was no reason to bring my father at all in picture, or even if I was born, I could have shown bhakti, and so on. But Lord says you have to stay little in the world. People should know about your story. People should know about the torments of Hiranyakashipu. Only then, it's not only for the current time that someone should show bhakti. Even in future also, the world should show bhakti. For that, we need role models like you. Like even in our everyday lives, right? Someone tells us to do something, we might do, but if we see four other people doing that, we feel, oh, he is also doing, I will do. Small children, especially. Maybe you tell the child to eat something, the child doesn't eat in the first instance. But it sees four other children eating, we tell, see, he is eating. Looking at that, the child immediately eats. This is the same thing even for us also. Bhaktas, Bhagavatas are very, very important. More than Bhagavan, Bhagavata himself is important. And that is another reason why it is said that Guru is someone who is very, very important. God is there. Everyone knows to worship God. But how many of us actually do that? But Guru is someone who, and Guru is someone who is very, very practical. He himself does that, therefore he tells the same thing. We see the Guru worshipping the Lord continuously. Looking at the Guru, we feel okay. Under the guidance of this person, I will also do the same thing. He or she is also doing the same thing. I will. Maybe they are more learned than me. Of course, we have to give them the status of that. But they are also doing the same thing. They know something more than me. They will always guide me on the right path. I can follow them easily. So here Mahamaya. So the Lord here tries to say that, tries to show and make Prahlada understand, and all of us also understand that Maya is something. When things are being done, you might not understand the meaning here, but then we have to always think about the future also. So therefore, same thing in our lives also, problems and evil doings come, wrongdoings happen. Immediately, why if something wrong happens, immediately let it go away. Why it takes a lot of time? Problems also we face, 10 years, 20 years we face. There will surely be some good motive behind it. That's the reason it takes time. So here the word Nama is Mahamaya, Mahamaya, Mahamayaya Namaha is the Nama here. Even here, Bhattatri also highlights this Niyantum Tvam Bhuvaha. Niyantum in the Prahlada Charitam, Dashakam 24-25, these verses that come in, wherein you are the one who is always present. Bhattatri prays to the Lord, and through Prahlada and also his devotees, you are showing the right path to the world. Like you have blessed your devotees, you bless me also and free me from my ailments. So this is a prayer that Bhattatri makes. So this is then Mahamaya and Maha will also be free from Maya. So the Parashruti is free from Maya. Note one thing again, Maya doesn't mean false or magic that is there. Like I gave an example of magic tricks or a magician, what he does. Looking at that, just because we don't know the tricks that are there, we feel that it is something purely magic, but there is some science behind it. We have to just be aware of that. Okay. Did everyone follow this? Okay. Next, Mahotsaha. Jagadutpatti Sthiti Layartha Mudyuktavat Mahotsaha. One who puts in lot of efforts or with lot of zeal also, he takes care of the creation, maintenance, and you can say destruction of the world. Now, here Mahotsaha, another meaning is Why has the Lord? Now, this is one meaning that is there, which we see one who is responsible for creation, sustenance, annihilation, destruction. So that is continuously the Lord has put in a lot of efforts. And it seems that because he puts in a lot of efforts, he has turned black, it seems. The Lord. That's the reason you see Lord Rama, Lord Krishna, he says Shyamaha, right? Ghanashyamaha. And dark, very dark. Though today we speak of racism also, all our lords are quite black. Black, or you can say dark blue, and so on. The Lord is that. So for that there is explain. Or even today you go to especially South India, Central India, we worship the Lord's black idols. Right? Go to North India, they make of white marble. That is different. So here Mahotsaha meaning one who has put in lot of efforts, and it seems that when he's putting in lot of efforts, maybe to ensure that his bhaktas are safe, maybe to ensure that the world is being created nicely, it is being maintained, it is destructed, everything is done at the proper time, pralaya is taking place. So it seems that by putting in a lot of efforts, he has turned out to be black. Just as now maybe we toil in the sun or so, we put in a lot of efforts, after some time we also become tired, right? And we say you have become very tan. There's something called tan. The same thing happens with the Lord also, it seems. And here, how it so happened is, in the Treta Yuga, now this verse if you remember, it comes in Narayana also. In the Satya Yuga, sorry, the Lord was white, it seems. And everything was pure, no negativity at all. So white, pure as white. Treta Yuga, slowly he started becoming a bit reddish. Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, slowly reddish, blue and so on. Kali Yuga, ultimately he became black. Now black here doesn't mean only darkness also, but then because of the efforts that you have to put in. Now there are different reasons, different meanings why the Lord has turned black. One is, it seems that goddess Mahalakshmi, she applies a lot of kajal, mai, on her eyes, and after applying a lot of mai, that is her kajal, she focuses her attention on the lotus feet of the Lord. So looking at the lotus feet, surrendering at the feet of the Lord continuously, she keeps looking. That's the reason you see always Lakshmi is pressing the feet of the Lord, right? So her eyes are always focused on the feet. Looking at that continuously with her eyes full of kajal and mai or mai, the feet, the Lord's body, entire feet and the body ultimately have turned black, it seems. This is one explanation. Second is, Brahma was born through the navel of Lord Vishnu. So when he was born through the navel of Lord Vishnu, the stalks, the lotus, right? So the stalks, it seems that they dried up. The stalks of the lotus, Stalks, stalks of the lotus dried up and they fell, it seems. So slowly it started drying up. Now if you see, when something dries up, like plants also, they turn little dark, right? So grayish, brownish, black also, and ultimately they will fall. That's the reason, one more reason why the Lord has turned out to be black. For this, I'll give you an example. Sometimes when maybe mothers can experience this, when the child is born, you have the umbilical cord that is cut. That place, it takes some time for that particular part also to fall down, right? And that place, sometimes for few people, it will turn blackish or dark color also. The same thing happens with Vishnu. Next is Tulsi Patram. Tulsi Patram continuously what happens? Tulsi Patram, if you see, Tulsi leaves are dark green in color. So the reflection of something is dark, its reflection also will be dark, right? So that is the reason that because of the reflection of Tulsi Patram, the Lord seems to be quite black, it seems, or dark. Next is the Lord in his Krishna Avatara spent a lot of time on the banks of the Yamuna river. Yamuna Kalindi is another name. Kaliha. Kaliha is a serpent who danced. So Kalindi, she is also, Yamuna waters are always dark. That's the reason the Lord also turns out to be dark. So now ultimately out of all these things, it so happened that Kalindi Kantihari Kanayatu Vapusha Kalimam Kaitaharehe. This is a verse composed by Vedanta Deshika, wherein he says that we devotees, the Lord, just as we devotees, we go and worship the Lord and we become very happy. The Lord also becomes happy, it seems. And it seems that when, before the process of creation, all human beings or all living creatures, they are like non-living things, it seems, like chair, table, and so on. You hit a table, you break a table, or you do anything with that, it will not be affected, right? But so we were also useless like these, it seems. Useless in the sense, let anything happen, I will just be sitting. You see, some people, no, let anything come in my way, I'll not put in efforts at all, nicely, whatever is there, let me enjoy. When problems come, let's see. So some people have this attitude, right? Easy attitude. So the Lord seems that when he looked at people who are like this initially and creatures, they were not putting in efforts or so. This is before creation. That is when Pralaya also, when the world ends and before the process of creation, he felt that the world looks so dark, full of darkness, nothing. So that's when he felt that no, the process of creation should start. all the bhaktas, they should be born as human beings. They should be blessed with jnanam. They should be blessed with bhakti, so that ultimately they can make their lives fruitful. You just eat, you fill your stomach, you drink, you earn money. That is important on one side, but then if you don't make your life fruitful, you are equal to animals. Like a great Sanskrit poet Bhartrhari says in the Subhashitams, in the Shatakam, he says, Manusyaha Pranarupinaha, wherein he says that man, that's the reason we say man is a social animal. Way you conduct ourselves decides how you are an animal. Otherwise, you are also equal to a four-legged animal. They also will fill their stomach. They also will take care of their young beings. They also know to fetch for themselves and lead a good life. But then, if this is the same thing what you want to do, you can be born as an animal. But if you have been blessed with a human life, and the Lord also, it seems, in happiness, it seems that the Lord has grown dark. He becomes very happy to see his bhaktas showing bhakti, doing good things for the well being of the world, helping other people, working for the welfare of things, developing positivity in the world. Looking at all this, the Lord becomes very happy. He dances in joy, it seems, and that's how he has turned dark. Dark. So, Mahotsaha. These are all different explanations why the Lord has turned uh, dark, and he puts in a lot of efforts in order to make his bhaktas happy, in order to ensure that his bhaktas also become great devotees, show a lot of bhakti. So Mahotsahaya Namaha is the Nama here, and the Palashruti is to grow a lot of bhakti for our own personal growth, both spiritually, professionally, personally, everything, and ultimately the last wish to attain mukti. So this is a Palashruti of this Nama. Very beautiful explanation. Okay, so we'll stop here. Today time is up.